Hi everyone, good morning. So today we can discuss another subtopic sources of history. What is meant by sources of history? Sources of history means what are the sources available for us to study about history. In order to study about history, we need some sources, we need some evidence, right? Other, if there is no sources or evidence, otherwise how we learn history? It is very difficult. So we need some evidences for studying history, or we need some sources for studying history, right? So that is known as sources of history. And we can see what are these evidences for studying history. So these evidences or these sources of history is classified into two: literary sources and archaeological sources. Okay, and literary sources means written documents. What are the written documents available for studying history? Ancient written documents. Okay, that is known as literary sources. And archaeological sources means it is not a written one. It is based on some physical remains of some buildings, some monuments, then ancient coins, then remains of some pillars, halfly destroyed pillars, caves. That is archaeological sources. Okay, so literary sources means written document, and archaeological sources means it is not a written document, non-written documents or non-written items. That is archaeological sources. Okay. So today we can discuss what are literary sources. Okay, and we know that the story of man on this earth goes back to several thousand years, and we can learn about it from the evidence left by our ancestors. Okay, and we know that long years ago, in our past, we have written records of different types, but thousands of years ago there is no paper to write. So our ancestors wrote their records on various objects like dried bojpatras. What is bojpatra? Bojpatras means dried leaves, dried thin leaves. So they use these dried thin leaves for writing. And the bark of trees, they wrote some about that period. They wrote on the barks of trees, then plates of copper. Some copper plates they use for writing, etc. And rocks and pillars, some stones. They inscribe some important events of that time on stones. So they use these type of items for writings thousands of years ago. Okay, but later they wrote on paper. So it is from this recorded evidence that our historians have constructed the history of mankind as we know it today. Okay, so from these records we can understand our history. Okay, and these handwritten accounts is also known as manuscripts. The handwritten accounts is known as manuscripts, and these manuscripts were prepared by few learned men of that periods. Huh? And the scripts they are used is different types of scripts they used in writing on a particular language, and many of these manuscripts have been lost or destroyed through the past centuries, but still historians have succeeded in constructing the wonderful story of man. Okay, and we can see what are these literary sources. Okay, first mainly the literary sources classified into three: religious literature, secular or historical literature, and travelers account. And we can learn one by one. First is religious literature. What is religious literatures? Yes, the religious books, the various religious books, right? That is religious literature. First one, the religious books of Hindus. Hindu, one caste, one religion. So the books of Hindus, religious books of Hindus are the Ramayana, Mahabharata, Upanishad, Purana, etc. So through these books we can get information about the ancient king, ancient dynasty, ancient wars, etc. Okay, then the another religion book, the Buddhist, another religion. So the religious books of Buddhist are Tripitakas, Jatakas, Divamsa, Mahavamsa, etc. So through this book, if we uh, going through these books, we can collect more information about past. And the another religion book, Jainism. Their book name is Anga. Religious book name is Angas. So through these books, they also through these religious books, they throw light on social, political, religious, and economic life of the people of ancient India. Okay, and Veda is one of the book of religious book of Hindus. The Veda tells us a lot about the life and culture of Aryans. Who were Aryans? Aryans means the ancient tribal people. They are coming from the north side for conquering India. Okay, Aryans were the group who invaded and conquered ancient India from the north. So, through Vedas, if we read the book of we can get lot of information about the life and culture of these Arya ancient people. Okay, and the Ramayana and Mahabharata, the two great epic book of Hindus, also provides us information about the social political life of the Aryans or the ancient people. Okay, and Puranas also full of mythology still provide useful information regarding certain historical dynasties, historical rulers, etc. All these books provide useful information about ancient India. So we can collect ancient information, we can collect history through this religious literature. Understand what is religious literature? Okay. The second one is secular literature or historical literature. It is not related to any religious books or any religious beliefs and tradition. It is based on history. Okay, some of the writings of famous personalities, example Kautilya. Kautilya gives us information about Mauryan administration through his book Arthashastra. Okay, like that Vishagadatta. The Mudra Rakshasa by Vishagadatta yields valuable information regarding Nanda and Maurya dynasty. These are some of the dynasties exist ancient times. This dynasty you can learn in coming classes, okay, in detail. So, uh, through these books, we can collect these dynasties information. Then V.S. Smith and Abdul Fazl's books, Arshacharita and Abdul Fazl's books, Akbarnama. Through these books, we can collect information regarding Harsha's dynasty, about Harsha's administration, Harshavardhana. That is another dynasty exists in ancient time. Okay, and the dramas of Kalidasa, shared life, social life of early people. What are the dramas of Kalidasa? Shakuntala, Meghaduta, and Malviga Nimitra shed life on the social life of that age. Okay, and also some historians' historians' literary works gives information about that ancient times. So through these books, we can collect more and more information about our past. It is not based on any religious book. It is based on some historians' books. Okay, that is known as historical literature. Okay, then third one is traveler's account. This is the third literary sources. Traveler's account. What is traveler's account? Traveler's account gives the exact truth which happened in the past. That means number of foreign travelers means Greek, Romans, Chinese, Tibetans, Muslim, etc. visited this country, India, from time to time, and they left valuable political and social accounts. They visited, these people visited the country India on some rulers period, and they wrote some records of that particular period, about that dynasty, about that king, all information they recorded. Okay, so if we read through these travelers account, we can collect more information about ancient dynasties and ancient kings, etc. Okay, for example, Herodotus in his book History supplies much information regarding Persia-Greek War and political connection of northwest India with Persia in the 15th century BC. And Megasthenes in his book Indica throws light of Mauryan administration and society. And also we can see that Fahin and Hyun Tisai, Chinese travelers, the person who are from China, they are known as Chinese travelers. They also give valuable accounts about Harshavardhana and Harshavardhana's dynasty, Harshavardhana's administration, etc. They visited India during that time, Harshavardhana's dynasty's time. So they left valuable information regarding those dynasties. Okay, so we can collect information through these travelers account, ancient travelers. Okay, so these are the three literary sources. First one is religious literature. Through the religious books we can collect information about our past. And next is secular or historical literature. It is not based on any religious book, it is based on historical books. Okay, based on some writings of historians. The third one is travelers account. From the records of some travelers we can collect information about our past. Okay, these are known as literary sources. Okay, the next small topic, why some travelers goes to distant land. Why these travelers? Travelers means a person who move from one country to another country or one place to another place. That person we call as travelers, right? Why they are moving from one place to another place? Yes, in order for the better opportunities. Some people travel to distant lands in search of livelihoods and better service opportunities, right? And some others travel to avoid natural calamities like earthquakes and floods. If earthquakes and floods happen, they move from one place to another place in search of protection and no, so on. Okay, so some are moving for livelihood and some are moving for better opportunities or to avoid natural calamities. Then some merchants move for selling goods to other places, right? And some religious leaders move from one place to another for what? For spreading of that religious beliefs. For example, in ancient times, Ashoka sent some monks, for spreading Buddhism to the another area. So that is the religious leaders. They travel from one place to another for spreading that particular religious belief. Okay, and conquerors in order to acquire some land, they move from one place to another. And some persons who went to distant land by the spirit of adventure. Okay, so these are the reason when one people move to another country or another distant land. Okay, in search of knowledge. For example, we can see that to spread Buddhist literature, some of the Chinese traveler Fahin, Hyun Tisang, they visited our country in search of the knowledge of Buddhist literature. And they left valuable accounts about the religious, social, and political condition of India. So, from these books, we can collect, from these travelers' books, we can collect information, and these are the reason why these people move from one place to another place. Understand? Okay, thank you.